Alright, hello everyone, my name is Cerebellum, this is Academy of the Ancients, and today we're looking at King of the Friendzones, mid-Shadow Fiend. This is gonna be a very high skill level according to Dota buff, so that is around 3700 MMR or higher. So it's gonna be a little bit different from usual. We're gonna look more at what he does and what he does right, since this is gonna be a very good game for him. Instead of trying to give feedback on what he could do better. There's a few things I've seen this replay before, but mostly he's doing stuff pretty well. Yeah. It's definitely not a failure of a game, I would say. The other Shadow Fiend games I've done, I believe I've done two. The first one was a Shadow Fiend. Yeah, that noise, so loud. The first game I did of Shadow Fiend was a Shadow Fiend mid who got absolutely trounced by a Terrorblade. And the second one was a dude who wanted some general feedback I did with Assume, one of the few videos of him way back when. So this one's gonna be more of a much more of a success. He's gonna go for first level Necro Mastery. You do this just to get your damage up. It's very critical for a Shadow Fiend to get that up as fast as possible. So usually you go for Necro Mastery or Shadow Rays first. I believe Arteezy talked about Shadow Rays first might be better just to get the farm up faster. So this is actually a really conservative starting item build from a Shadow Fiend. He's getting a bunch of agility items and then a bunch of regen. Normally you could see like a Shadow Fiend with just 2 tangos and then like branches and then go for ultra fast bottle, but that was when bottle crowing was better. I don't know if that's really viable now, though with the double runes maybe that's still good if you can still count on getting a rune. So he's gonna do very well on the last hits here to begin with. He's actually got a pretty good right click as soon as he starts getting a few last hits, and he does have 9 so far, which gives him 9 souls, which is quite good. So these are now 10 souls, so now he's getting 20 bonus damage just to kind of give you an idea of what this mid matchup, what it boils down to is who has the better right clicking or last hitting potentials. And though Puck has this pretty nice nuke, the Puck only has 56 right click damage, whereas the Shadow Fiend now has 70. So that's a very decisive advantage, and plus the Shadow Fiend has a really nice animation. It's uphill for the Puck. It's very hard for the Puck to deny, it's very easy for the Shadow Fiend to deny, and of course denies also give the Shadow Fiend souls, and the more souls you get, the better your right click becomes. And we can see he's doing quite a lot of damage already. One thing for a second here I want to check is my audio settings. I do have music on. That is odd. I'm not hearing any music, which is bothering me a little bit. But let's see if it wakes up. So he's got his bottle. He went for bottle pretty much off the bat. That's pretty useful for mid. He's just gonna max out these 2 abilities before he gets any of the others, which is also what you should do probably as a Shadow Fiend. And his next item is gonna be a Midas. Probably after boots. I'm not completely sure if it's after boots or if it's just straight Midas. In either case, that's Shadow Fiend is really open with regard to item build. You can go for this bottle, you can go for Blink, you can go for Shadow Blade. Used to be really popular, not so much these days. But yeah, he's doing really well on the last hits, and the Puck's getting absolutely crushed in lane. So deny is now, of course, really important, since the deny creep gives even less XP now than
Dire's
usually.
middle tower is under attack.
Before I did, I don't know the numbers, but it's a lot better to deny now. You get a lot more from denying.
Radiant's top
here we
tower
see
is under attack.
one thing you can do as a Shadow Fiend is stacking this camp. That's why he's a lot better on the Radiant side. There isn't a camp readily available on the Dire side, and you can stack here. So usually Shadow Fiend mid is something you do on the Radiant side, or you're a little bit more willing to do on the Radiant side, because you can do that exactly what he just did there, stacking that camp, and then later he used the Shadow Races to clear it out. So, but the long and short of it, of this laning state, is he's gonna just last hitting like a maniac and absolutely killing the Puck here. Now he is maxed on souls at the moment, but he's still. I think he could have waited just a few seconds until he could stack this camp, because now he's going to try for this rune, but there's going to be 2 heroes here, contest the Nyx and the Puck. So if he had picked up on that, he would have had an opportunity to stack this camp again, which I think is one of the only mistakes is he isn't stacking these caps only much, and he also missed that race, pretty much. But aside from that, he's playing really well so far. It's relatively minor things, like he's got the basics down, definitely.
Dire's middle tower.
I really want to see if I can't. Why is the music not working? Yeah, I don't know. That's
Is under attack.
it's really annoying me, but yeah. So the thing with Midas, which he is going for, is that it's kind of a long-term investment in terms of gold, which pays off immediately in terms of XP. So you will immediately, after you get the Midas, get more XP than you would otherwise, if you just, you know, assuming you aren't just dying because you have invested in a Midas or anything. But it will take about 18 minutes, I believe it is, for you to recuperate the gold. If you use the Midas every time it comes off cooldown, in terms of bonus gold, not taking into account, you know, the time saved killing creeps or anything like that. So he's, I think the Midas really favors passive play, like the passive play style really benefits from having a Midas, whereas if you want to gank and stuff, the Midas really only gives you 30 attack speed, which is not super much. Certainly not for 2000 gold. You could be getting like a Yasha instead, which, you know, builds into better stuff and has a 10% movement speed and 16 damage on top of what the Midas essentially gives. So he's still last hitting like a man, and just, you know, really crushing it in that terms. And I'm keeping this at a higher speed here because I want to just kind of breeze past this part. His team's doing great. Like if you think that you are last hitting this well, and you know, if you've invested in a Midas, there's no reason to go and fight right now at all. There's a lot of players, especially in lower level pubs, that will really try to make you fight when really I think you should be calm. So they're gonna get a few nice pickups there. That was a really good fight to join. For the Shadow Fiend, he does have level 1 of his ulti now. Notice that he's maxed out his raise and his Necromancy, and he was full on souls, which is the key for when you should maybe look to use the ultimate. You also trigger off the ultimate when you die, of course, which makes it very easy to trade with folks, especially if you can just get off your ultimate and then get a second ultimate when you die. Then, you know, stuff will probably die around you, and you can probably pick off some supports, trade that way. But, you know, still not great, especially since it's very costly for the zero to die. You do lose half your souls, which means you can't fight immediately after. Buybacks on Shadow Fiend are pretty lackluster for that reason. It's like
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, you just can't really do as much.
Structures are fortified.
He is missing some of his raises. I didn't notice that first time around. Now he is stacking attack speed items quite a bit here. He's got the power threads and the Hind of Might, so he's getting 60 attack speed. That's about as much, a little bit more than a Hyperstone, so quite a lot of attack speed coming through from here, which is very good on the Shadow Fiend because you do get so much right click from your Necro Mastery. So yeah, your right click damage is high from your Necro Mastery, and you just need, you know, attack speed.
Middle tower is
of course, now he's going to go for Yasha. This is a really good all-round item for him. The extra movement speed, which is really the unique thing about Yasha, is quite good. But the kicker is really that you get agility and extra attack speed.
Out of my way!
Yeah. Here we see one of the first big mistakes. He comes in after Mirana. Mirana's visible. And there we go. Puck's gonna throw out nuke probably after the Mirana, and he's gonna get hit by the nuke stun as well. So they clumped up a bit too much here. If we take a look at the way they go into this engagement, the Shadow Fiend and Mirana's coming in here. Mirana's gonna leap forward, I think, or maybe just walk forward. No, leap forward and start forward. Now the enemies see her, they're targeting on her, but the Naga and the Shadow Fiend here are coming in behind her, so all of these AoE abilities are just kind of accidentally going to hit on them here. See, the Nyx was already casting his stun before he could see the Shadow Fiend, and that's, you know, that's why he's getting crushed here. If he'd come all this way, that would have been far better, just so he wouldn't have been hit by all this AoE. Yeah, one of the few real mistakes from king of the friend zone in this game. You could argue that the Mirana was far too eager to leave in there, but they don't have a true front line. They don't have a really good initiator, so yeah, you know, it's hard to say, but it's still the outcome's certainly really bad. Now he's lost 18 souls, or he's lost. Let's see, what's that?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
36 damage. 36 damage temporarily. But they're gonna go back. The Juggernaut's gonna land them 2 return kills here with a little bit of assist.
Radiant's top tower.
And they're gonna be able to take a tower off that.
Tower has fallen.
So the enemies make a rookie mistake, which is just kind of hanging out too long, not retreating with the advantage.
Top tower is under attack.
Again, here he could have stacked this camp right now. He's really not very aware of stacking these camps at all. He's doing a good job of using his might consistently, but he's not stacking camps, which is, I think, the biggest single misstep. Is he just doesn't stack the camps more than... I think he does it once or twice in the entire game. We've seen it once already.
Radiant's middle tower
camp to use his might on, but he's not gonna find any.
Is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
That's his just complete. Next item's gonna be the BKB. And he is kind of like... His only problem so far has been kind of... There's an amount of control on the enemy team that he has to have respect for the puck, the Wind Ranger and the Nyx. And of course also the ultimate from the Legion Commander, though I believe... Let me just check that. I believe that actually will pierce... Pierce's spell immunity, yeah, so the BKB will not help you against a duel, but in general, we will see what happens when a Legion Commander decides to duel up a farmed Shadow Fiend later, which it's not pretty, I'll tell you that much. He does have a few levels in Presence of the Dark Lord now, which is quite a opposing armor debuff, though I really wouldn't consider it worthy of specking early. So again, he might have been able, I don't know if that camp was, yeah, he might have had a chance to stack there, but I didn't check. Now there's a fight going on up here. He comes in at the tail end of it. I don't think they're going to be able to get too much here. Oh, there we are.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's going to be the sniper. And he turns around now, so... Definitely good not committing further. I would have maybe been a little nervous about committing as much as they did there. But still pretty decent. Nyx really wants to kill on the Shadow Fiend here, but...
Dire's bottom tower is Dire's structures.
Good sense to retreat there. And he just goes right back to farming, which is exactly what you should do in this situation. Just go back to farming if you at all can. And
Dire's
see how much this bottle is working
is
for him now, that he's almost guaranteed a rune every 2 minutes. He's really farming at a very good rate. If we look at the gold per minute, he's leading it by a fair margin. And number 2s and number 3 is also on his team, so this game is handily going their way, despite the kill scores of course being almost even. Don't pay too much attention to the skill scores. They give very little information about the way the game's actually going right now, because it's all about who's on kill streaks now, and who can, if you have a chance to end them. So... If, say, the enemy is on kill streaks, then that makes their kill lead worth a lot less, because if they make one mistake, they die, they give up a lot of gold. It's not quite as much as the beginning of this patch, but it's still very much true. Like, they will... yeah, you need much better sense of the way the game is going with regard to objectives, pushing power, and stuff like that. As opposed to just, you know... just farm rate or current farm. There's a lot more flux in it because of the way one single engagement can have much more of an impact, is what I'm trying to get set with. So that's his BKB. Again, this is one of those items where really when you finish a BKB, that's a really good chance for, you know, fights. You shouldn't feel too pressured to fight right now. As we can see, he can outfarm pretty much anyone right now. So there's really no reason for him to be too aggressive. But still, if they get a chance for a fight now, he should be more eager to take it, because he's just finished the BKB. And they are going to use some Mirana ult to move around in here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They've got 4 in the enemy jungle. You could be worried about kind of getting pincered here if you go down here, that the 3 of these
Dire's
guys
top
come here,
tower is under attack.
come in. And that's a nice Nyx initiation there. There comes the Legion Commander actually gets a victory there, but then the Juggernaut just kind of omni-slashes everything. The Juggernaut also has pretty good farm. He's got his Academies finished, and that honestly kind of saved the fight for them there. It's a very nice initiation from the Nyx initially, and very nice move from the Puck here. Actually, the sniper got the... That's a little bit funny, I wanna just see that. See here, Puck kills the Shadow Fiend, and then...
No!
Yeah, the Requiem from the death of the Shadow Fiend just killed the sniper. Yeah. So don't be too close to a Shadow Fiend dies, especially as a support. If you're a squishy support, it can be very dangerous. Because it does do a lot of damage. It's kind of like Luna's ult in that regard. Like at this point of the game, 20 minutes to 30 minutes or so, it's a very potent nuke. But you need, a few levels before it becomes good. Then you can kind of rely on that for a few team fights, and then you need to start really making use of your right click more. So it does have a fairly hefty debuff as well. So it's also later on useful as a debuff when its damage becomes less than your right click, It's grabbing almost all the elastics now, so that's pretty nice. I don't think those raises are strictly necessary.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's
Pressuring the top tower of the Dire quite nicely here. He's going for Amanda style now, which is quite good.
Hey, sir! This will come in handy.
Almost all agility carries like to get Amanda style. I'm just gonna
attack.
run into a Puck. Doesn't really want to fight the Puck when
Dire's
there's so
top
many
tower
enemies
has
missing.
fallen.
There's gonna be a big fight in mid. Instead of joining, he's just gonna push this lane out. They're also gonna win the fight mid incidentally. Looks like the Juggernaut here kind of pulling it through for his team again. Honestly, the Juggernaut
Dire's
did
top
almost as well.
Dire's structures
In
are
fight impact, the
fortified.
Juggernaut was definitely better than the Shadow Fiend this game, but in terms of sheer farm, the Shadow Fiend is pulling through. But he is getting the space for it from his team. That's when you hear space created or something like this. It's all this space. The Shadow Fiend can pretty much go around, do whatever he wants, and that's because his team is being aggressive. His team is forcing the enemy team to address what they're doing, and doing it so effectively, actually making trades happen that are effective for his team. But the Shadow Fiend doesn't even have to be involved. He hasn't been involved in most of the kills. He's been involved in half their kills pretty much. So a lot of stuff is happening without the Shadow Fiend, and that's pretty good because then the Shadow Fiend can farm up.
This will do nicely.
He's got his mana style now. He's seriously farmed compared to almost anyone on the enemy team. This is a very risky engagement here. I don't know if I would be eager to go up here. They have a sentry right over here, as we saw just before. But now they're gonna initiate here on the sniper. And Shadow Fiend just comes in, uses the invis move. Ultimate just insta-kills the sniper. There's the Nyx going in this, but of course they had a sentry. And now the Legion Commander tools up the Shadow Fiend. But, it's, when it's just a right-click battle, you have to be really farmed to take on a Shadow Fiend, honestly. He should use his Midas. He does use his Midas. So very nice awareness that he needs to use his Midas during the fight then. To not lose out
Dire's
too much
middle
on that.
tower is under
I
attack.
would use the Mana style to push a little bit. Very good pushing item for heroes like the Shadow Fiend.
Dire's middle tower.
Very
as
nice.
Dire's bottom tower
Juggernaut
is under
snaps a kill
attack.
with the Omni Slash. And this is looking like the end is nigh for this team. It's gonna take the Ancients now. This is very good when you push it. If you want to fight and take the tier 2, don't feel like you can take the tier 3. Check if they've got an Ancient stack, or maybe go for the Roshan. It's a
Dire's
really good
top
option.
tower is under attack.
And I think he's playing it very
Dire's
nice right now.
middle tower is under attack.
They don't really have to push high ground. At 27 minutes
prize
is
is
pretty
mine.
fast to push high ground these days. And when you're at half-life, there's no real reason to go for it. He can farm up a butterfly really fast. So that's just what he's doing, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, it won't take him more than probably 2-3 minutes to finish up this butterfly. And you know, that's definitely worth it. Actually less, just because of the Midas, I forgot that. So he's actually gonna have it before 30 minutes probably. And that'll up his potency in fights by a considerable amount. He was waiting for the Mirana to stack his camp, but the Mirana looks like she's AFK or something. Which is unfortunate, that would have been pretty much his the rest of his butterfly. He's only like 300 off. He's close. Yeah, if he'd had that stack on the Ancients, he would have had the butterfly now. But he's still gonna make it before 30, yep. There we are. Now the enemies want to fight here. He's just gonna go back to base and get his butterfly. Doesn't want to risk a fight right now. Juggernaut's gonna bite the dust. Yeah, he wasn't on a streak though, he must have died recently. Double kill. And the enemies get quite a good fight here. Yeah, it's very tough to coordinate combos with the Naga song. Honestly, it's pretty timing intensive. If you aren't used to it, it's hard to pull off. So I'm not surprised that they weren't able to in just a random prop.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The Mirana missing her arrow, even though the targets are still had to coordinate it with the song ending at the right moment. So he's gonna go for booster travel now. Wants to see if he can get 6 of it. So of course you can't afford having both a TP and the boots in your inventory then. Again, more passive farming. No really good opportunities, no reason to force a fight when you can just kind of up your own potential as efficiently as he is.
Illusion!
And that's the thing with Shadow Fiend, because you're punished so much for dying, you aren't really a hyper-aggressive hero. You're more actually a...
This will come in handy.
Yeah. If you can just kind of show up to fights occasionally and just kind of win them for your team because you aren't really expected to show up, or just have way more farm than the opponent, that's the way to go.
Bottom tower is under attack.
But you shouldn't be always fighting. So I was very surprised that no one had any detection, even though the sniper went for a shadow blade.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
So good at farming. Yeah. If we look at the last hits, 300 last hits at 30 minutes is pretty good. That's, you know, really respectable, like really, really good. Certainly for
Dire's
like, I don't know if it's probably around 4K. That's, you know, it's a good margin to get.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
You had no place here.
So now, like, again, there's a lot of item choices for this guy. He's gonna go for crit. You could also go for a Satanic or like a Mjolnir for extra attack speed. But you know, you see, he's got the butterfly, he's got a lot of attack speed. He is at 2 attacks per second, more or less, and it's really good. That's, you know, where you probably don't need to, you don't have to get attack speed. Like, it's not completely unranged like that. It's not a completely open and shut choice. There's an actual choice, is what I'm trying to say. Go. He's a good hero for doing Roshan, of course. Since he does a ton of damage, has a minus armor effect. Go is gonna sell his Midas just to get a head start on the Daedalus, and I think that's pretty good. He's at level 24, he's been level 25 before too long, so no real point in having the Midas after that. They thought they could get a good engagement there on the Shadow Fiend, but they were wrong.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah. So now they're just gonna grind down the racks. DG Commander gave me a bit of props to Juggernaut and the Shadow Fiend. And yeah, this is pretty much gonna be game.
Dire's Ancient is under attack. Dire's Ancient is under attack. Dire's Ancient is under attack.
So a pretty good showcase of what happens when you don't contain a shadow field, and exactly, you know, how you should behave ideally in an ideal game as a Shadow Fiend. Spend a lot of time farming, kind of dive in whenever you see a good fight, and you know, that's at least how you do it in this case. They weren't very out-carried this game. If there had been like a Spectre or an Anti-Mage or some such on the enemy team, maybe you should have fought more aggressively. Maybe a Midas would have been very greedy at that point. But since they weren't really out-carried, they had the Naga Siren. Naga Siren is probably the hardest carry in this match, though she was maybe relegated to support duties here. She did get a good amount of farm, and you know, I think it was a really good idea to go for the Midas here, just because there's a lot of pressure on the enemies to be aggressive. Like, they have a sniper and a Legion commander pretty much for their carry potential, which when you're up against Shadow Fiend, Juggernaut, and Naga Siren, I would not bet on those two being able to pull it through. Like, yeah, that would be impressive if they were able to do that. But in which case, you know, you can go for the long game, and that's really what you're doing when you're going for the Midas. You're going for the long game, and that's, you know, and you're also saying, I don't need the potency right now, I need the potency later. So I think that was a good choice here. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of choices you can make with the Shadow Fiend. You could go for a lot of other stuff. You could go for a you could go directly to the BKB. You could go for the Blink Dagger. You could go for crit. There's a lot of stuff, yeah. Late game, I'm a little bit surprised we didn't see a Satanic come out from him. That's usually what I see Shadow Fiends go for, just to really make use of all that damage you can deal out with your right click just to heal up. But then again, once we went past the 30-minute mark here, the last 10 minutes or so, maybe even 15 minutes, you know, they had it pretty close to in the bag. He had a really, really good gold per minute here. He just farmed like crazy. He got all the space in the world for it, and he did reasonably well. He did have a few rough edges with regards to his farming. There was sometimes he had opportunities to stack camps where he didn't. There was that one fight in the beginning where he died unnecessarily because he clumped up too much. And else I think, oh yeah, there was also, he got a little bit greedy in another fight where the puck kind of instigated when the sniper died to the Requiem as a result of the Shadow Fiend dying. So a few fights, a few deaths that could have been avoided, but else I think a really solid game here from King of the Friendzone. In any case, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing and liking it. My name's been Cerebellum. This has been Academy of the Ancients. As always, the instructions for sending in a replay will be in the description for this video. That'll be all for this time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.